Hi, this is Alessio. Hope you're well, and welcome to this update on Bitcoin. In this particular video on Bitcoin, I want to try and answer a very important question which some of you have been asking. And the question is this: is it possible that Bitcoin is actually heading down to 4,000 or 3,000 next year in 2021? In other words, is it possible that this rally we've seen so far, this three-wave structure, is not a 1, 2, 3 uptrend in Bitcoin, but actually it's an ABC rally, which eventually is going to end up pretty badly. We're going to have a massive crash down to 4,000 next year in 2021. So I'm going to try and answer this question. Is that a likelihood that could happen next year in 2021? Now, before we start, as I'm sure you can see for yourself, we have a special guest here today, don't we? Santa. And we've got a nice fire in the background. So, okay, we've already started the Christmas period, as we can see here. And by the way, I want to ask Santa a very important question. Hey, Santa. Any ideas about the Santa Claus rally in the markets this year? You're planning some kind of Santa Claus rally?
I think you could use a mint or a gum.
Charming. A gum, huh? Oh, you know what? Sometimes Santa Claus can be a real jerk, you know that? Anyway, let's talk about Bitcoin. Now, before we start, let me just remind you guys one more time that my good friend Charlie Burton, who's a fantastic trader, is giving you a free month, a free first month of his subscription to his Signal service. So again, if you're not a subscriber, you can go ahead and check it out on that link right there to see what it's all about. Okay guys, let's talk about Bitcoin. Now you may remember in my video last week, I made a very important prediction about Bitcoin. I said on the balance of probabilities, we're very likely to be in a wave 3 uptrend. In other words, a part of a three-wave structure, which started from the crash of 2018, after the crash of 2018. The first wave being the rally in 2019, that was wave 1. Then the corrective move, the wave 2, and then the major wave 3, which could take us eventually to the levels I mentioned to you in the previous video, to about 21,255 to about 23,000 levels. Okay, minimum, but that's minimum for wave 3. And by the way, you may recall that I said I don't think it's likely we'll reach these levels this year, but very likely at the start of next year, probably between January to May of 2021. So that's what I said to you in my previous video, that very likely we're in a strong uptrend, a wave 3 uptrend of this bull market towards those levels. But here's the thing, when I read the comments, some people were saying, hang on a second, Alessio, this entire rally structure, maybe it's not 1, 2, 3, but actually it's an ABC rally. Now, I told you in my previous video that I thought that was unlikely. However, what I want to do in this video is try to be fair as possible to this other perspective, because I realize some people out there, perhaps yourself, you might very well hold this view. This rally so far is not an uptrend, it's not a 1, 2, 3 uptrend, the third wave of an uptrend towards these higher levels, but actually it's just a corrective rally, an ABC type rally towards, again, towards 21,000, 23,000 levels. So I want to try and answer this question, is that a likelihood? Is it actually something that could really happen? And I want to be as fair as possible to this particular perspective. Now, before we begin, just to be absolutely accurate about this, what the proponents of this theory, that this is an ABC rally, the people out there who put this view that this could be an ABC rally, to be actually accurate and fair to them, what they're saying is that this crash that occurred, the crash that occurred from the peak of 2017, okay, the major bubble peak we saw there back at the time. In other words, that crash was the A wave, a major, bigger A wave. And this rally is the B wave, the entire B wave rally, to be followed by a bigger C wave crash. And in case you're wondering what does that mean, because you got B waves are often composed of 3 waves. So B waves are composed of A, B, C. So if you want to think about an ABC rally, you have the A wave down, the B wave rally. The B wave is composed of 3 waves. It's a corrective rally. And then you have the C wave crash composed of 5 waves. And again, for those of you not familiar with Elliott wave theory simply says that markets move in the direction of the major trend in 5 waves, but corrections are composed of 3 waves called ABC. Okay, as you can see as an example here on the chart. So what does this mean for Bitcoin? Well, I'm going to look at 3 pieces of evidence in this particular video. Let's look at the first piece of evidence, which is the A wave of this ABC wave. All right, guys, see guys, in Elliott wave theory, statistically, the A wave, okay, the A wave of a correction is composed of 3 waves. It's a 3-wave structure. Now, it is possible for an A wave to be composed of 5 waves too. But usually, ABC structure is a very important point to remember. Usually, on the balance of probabilities and statistically, A waves in an ABC structure are composed of 3 corrective waves. In other words, the A wave is not impulsive. It's usually corrective. So an ABC structure has a 3-3-5 structure. 3 waves up, 3 waves down, and then 5 waves up. That is a typical ABC pattern, usually in a corrective rally. So because the first wave you see there, the rally in 2019, because that has a 5-wave structure, if you look at that chart, Guys, the first wave has a 5-wave structure. You can go ahead and look at it yourself, and you'll see it's composed of 5 smaller waves. Not 3 waves, but 5 smaller waves. Therefore, I actually think that's a good evidence in favor of this being wave 1 and not the A wave of a B wave. All right, guys, I don't think that's corrective. That looks impulsive. Now, I grant you, some of you are probably saying, Alessio, that still could be A wave, the A wave. Yeah, absolutely. It could be. Therefore, we need to look at 2 other pieces of evidence in this video. So let's look at the other 2 as well. All right, guys, so point number 2 is the stock market. Now, in case you're wondering, what the heck does the stock market have to do with Bitcoin? Well, as I'm sure you probably noticed, guys, for the majority of the time, there has been a strong correlation between Bitcoin and the stock market, the S&P. Now, sometimes this correlation has weakened and broken down, but actually right now, we are seeing these correlations beginning to catch up again. So I have to tell you that I still think this correlation will continue into next year. And here's the thing. I think because the stock market is likely to be very bullish in 2021. So my outlook for the stock market next year in 2021 is quite bullish. So I'm very bullish for the stock market next year. So therefore, I cannot see how I can be bearish for Bitcoin next year in 2021. Therefore, if next year, and I think until the end of 2021, if next year is going to be a very good period for the S&P and the stock markets, then I cannot really have a bearish bias towards Bitcoin, to be perfectly honest. Now, you might say, look, that still could be the C wave of an ABC. That C wave could still go up as the stock market goes up. Fine. Okay, I grant you that. Therefore, let's go to factor number 3. All right, guys, let's go to that. All right, guys, the point number 3 I want to make here is the trend, the long-term trend. And this is very important. The fact is, as I'm sure you know by now, as a famous saying, the saying goes, the trend is your friend until the end. All right, guys? So the proponents of this hypothesis, the proponents of the view that this rally is an ABC wave, you know, we have to always remember that what is the long-term trend? The long-term trend on this logarithmic chart of Bitcoin is actually we're still in a long-term uptrend. The uptrend has not been broken, okay? I still see this as being part of this rally is part of a long-term uptrend, okay? And I'm not seeing any evidence of this trend having been broken, perfectly honest. So, okay, but is it possible that this rally could still be a corrective rally? What if this is part of like a B wave, so ABC, a big, massive, mega ABC pattern? These things do happen. If you look at this chart, the stock markets, for example, you see, guys, over the last 20 years, we had a massive ABC pattern on the stock market. Okay, so if you take a look at this chart, the peak was made in this chart back in the dot-com crash, the dot-com bubble of the year 2000. Then we had the first A wave down, then a B wave rally from about 2003, 2007, and then a C wave crash, which occurred in the year 2008. So from 2007, 2008, the massive recession, that called the C wave. All in all, we had an ABC wave, a 3-wave corrective pattern on the S&P, and then a major stock market rally from the bottom in 2009. I think that is what the proponents of an ABC pattern for Bitcoin, what they believe is going to happen to Bitcoin as well. What they're saying is that what we're dealing with is not so much a 1, 2, 3 uptrend. No, this entire pattern, the crash, the rally, and the eventual crash is part of a bigger, mega ABC pattern, okay? So A wave down, B wave up, which is what this rally is right now, part of a C wave within a bigger B wave, and then we have the major C wave corrective drop down to 4,000, 3,000 levels. That's what the proponents of this theory are saying, that once this ABC pattern completes, like the one we had on the stock market, which took some years, by the way, bottom line is they're saying once this corrective crash ends, in other words, once this B wave goes all the way, let's say, to 21,000, 23,000, then we have a massive crash down to 4,000, and then we bottom, near 4,000 or 3,000, and then we start the major rally towards higher levels, 30,000, 50,000, and then potentially 100,000. So that's the theory, the way some proponents have it of this particular ABC wave. So here's what I would say. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be as fair as possible to this hypothesis. If that is correct, well, firstly, here's the thing. If we are an ABC wave, first of all, the C wave has now extended beyond the symmetrical 100% projection of the A wave. So if you measure the A wave, you project it from the bottom of the B wave, that's a corrective B wave there, then you'll see the C wave up, this particular C wave up, is now gone beyond the 100% projection. That's fine, because it could still go up to the 161 extension. C waves can extend to the 161.8 golden ratio extension, which would mean that Bitcoin could still go in a C wave rally towards 21,255 to potentially the 23,000 levels. That's possible. It could happen. Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. If we are in an ABC wave, if we are truly in the C wave of an ABC rally, the C wave should not really go too far beyond. I would say it shouldn't really go into the 25,000 region. If it goes into the 25,000 region, that would become a very extended B wave, and I would have to say it lowers the probability that we're dealing with an ABC structure. Okay, so personally, look, if this is a C wave within a larger B wave, it would really have to end between 21,000 and between 23,000 levels, 21,000, 23,000 levels, and then we have to start a major crash or drop. But here's the thing, that's not the end of it. Then that major crash, that C wave, the bigger C wave, has to then go below this channel. In other words, in order for me to be convinced, in order for us to be persuaded that we're dealing with an ABC rally structure, an ABC corrective structure, then the bigger C wave crash has to drop below support. It has to break market structure. In other words, it has to crash below the regression channel support, about 12,500, and then below 10,000. In other words, guys, if next year we go into the 21,255 to 23,000 levels, which is possible, and then we start a major, reversal and crash, and if that crash goes below 12,500, yeah, that would be a huge red flag, because that would be breaking out of the channel. It's going below support, it's breaking market structure, and yes, especially if it goes below 10,000, that's it. I mean, all bets are off, because any move, if that drop next year goes below 12,500, and yeah, it's a red flag, and then if it goes below 10,000, yeah, with a very high probability, we're dealing not with an uptrend, but actually the beginning of a major crash going towards 4,000, 3,000 levels, okay, maybe even 2,000 levels, and then we potentially form a bottom, and then we start a major uptrend, after a year or so. So that's the cataclysmic, catastrophic crash, which may happen. It's a possibility, but guys, again, I have to tell you, based on the three factors, again, given the fact we're in an uptrend, given the fact in a long-term uptrend, given the fact the structure of the ABC waves, given the potential strength in the stock markets, I have to tell you, I still think the ABC scenario has a lower probability. So I'm not saying it's impossible. Nothing is impossible. It could happen. I'm just saying the ABC scenario carries a lower probability. I'm still sticking with my higher probability scenario, which is that we're in a wave 3 uptrend, again, going potentially significantly higher in the next few years. So again, I'm going to remain in my bullish perspective unless and until Bitcoin proves me wrong. In other words, if I'm wrong about my 1, 2, 3, the third wave scenario, if I'm wrong about the bullish uptrend, then Bitcoin has to show it to us, has to persuade us that I'm wrong. And how does it do that? Well, as I just explained to you, it has to break structure. It has to fall out of the channel. If it does that, it's a huge if it does it next year, for example, then yes, then I could be persuaded that I could then change my mind and say, yeah, okay, so we're then likely in an ABC situation. But until it does that, my higher probability scenario still is we're in a bigger 1, 2, 3 uptrend in Bitcoin. By the way, guys, make sure you watch my members video, because my most recent member videos have discussed the targets for wave 4 and 5 as well. So again, if you're not a member, you can go ahead and join on that link and watch my chart analysis on that video. All right, guys, before we go, I just want to ask Santa Claus one more time what he thinks about the Santa Claus rally this Christmas. Hey, Santa, you want to tell us finally, are we going to have a Santa rally in the markets and Bitcoin this December?
I'm gonna go to a bar and get totally plastered. Ho ho ho.
Seriously? You know what, Santa? You're a big waste of space. Get out of here. Oh, come on, man. It's a doll. It's just a doll. And by the way, guys, before I finish the video, let me just say this. My good friend, Charlie Burton, is a fantastic trader. He's now giving you a free month, a free first month of your subscription for his Signal service. And as I mentioned before, Charlie Burton is a good friend of mine. He's actually one of the best traders out there. He's actually one of the few good traders out there that I trust. And I value his judgment. So as I mentioned, Charlie's now giving you your first month free for his Signal service, and also you can use this promo code Bravo1 to get 40% discount on your subscription. And has made a video for you to actually find out what it's all about as well. On that link, you can go there and check out all the details about Charlie's Signal service. And guys, as I'm sure you're aware, trading carries a significant risk of loss, so make sure you always use a stop loss, and be careful you do not over leverage either. All right, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video update. Cheers, guys. Bye now.